Ideal Protein Nation. Man, I got another great show for you just in time for the holidays. Are you getting that spirit? It's been so cool this year. I kind of feel like we've got an extra week between Thanksgiving and the start of December and getting into the Christmas and all the holidays, that we can be in phase one right now, just cleaning out that carb tank and getting that metabolism revved up for the holiday season, taking care of any Thanksgiving weight. So I hope that you've been in that mode at this stage of your game. So for those of you who are brand new to the Life Possible podcast, the Life Possible podcast was created to spotlight successful clients, coaches, and clinic owners who have used the Ideal Protein Protocol to reset their body, reset their mind, and actually reset what's possible for their life. These people have some amazing stories, and those stories need to be told. So during the pandemic, I created the show so that we could highlight some of those people, along with others in the Ideal Protein community, which I lovingly refer to as Ideal Protein Nation, who constantly contribute to our lifestyle. Today is one of my absolute favorite all-time people in Ideal Protein Nation. Who am I first? Why am I even doing this? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't even bear it. Hang on, I got to give me some graphics. There he is. Hey, so I'm Dr. John Barnes, and I started this show. I started Ideal Protein because back in 2015, I was fat, sick, and depressed. And I truly did not see a way out. I had ruined my metabolism. I had no idea what had happened. And I didn't see that there was an answer. So I spent a lot of time fat, sick, and depressed until I had a client. And I swear God brought me the Ideal Protein Protocol as the answer to so many of my prayers, both personally and professionally. And now today, I actually live a life that I would consider to be healthy, vibrant, and alive. 2 years ago, I was able to accomplish my first half Ironman distance triathlon. And we run an office here instead of chiropractic that is 100% or 97% Ideal Protein. Now, let's get to the good stuff. Who do I have coming on today? I have none other than the incomparable, the one, the only Janeva Caroline Eichhoff. And I have to say Caroline, since that's my daughter's middle name, and Janeva is actually one of her mentors and heroes in the low carb lifestyle. Janeva Caroline Eichhoff, she is a reluctant celebrity in Ideal Protein Nation. However, a celebrity nonetheless. If you have not heard of her, if you haven't seen her recipes, if you have not seen her Facebook page, you must be living under an Ideal Protein rock. And I hope that at some point today is going to inspire you. She considers herself, and I absolutely love this, she considers herself a food musician. She composes sonatas and symphonies with food. And that's what she considers her recipes. And truly, if you've ever tried any of them, you'll say that that's exactly what they are. Let's bring her in. Where are you backstage there? Are you cooking here already? Hey, there she is.
Hello, Dr. Barnes. Ideal Protein Nation.
So can you tell that I'm super excited and I'm in ketosis? I mean, that's kind of...
You're right? Awesome.
Yep. Nah. Janeva, this is our third show together.
It is.
Third show together. Yes, I will refer people back. I wanted to talk a little bit about her personal Ideal Protein story. I'll refer people back. The longer version, along with before and after pictures, etc., was our first episode, episode number 20. That was back in that was like 2-3 years ago.
Already.
Yeah, absolutely. And so last year, we kind of started what I hope is going to continue to be a yearly tradition of doing the holiday show, the Janeva's Holiday Baking Show. And so we've got new recipes that we're bringing out this year. So if you don't get enough from this show, go back and search out. I forget what number it is, but go back to last year's show because there's different recipes that we highlighted during last year's show. I just wish, if you will, give us the Reader's Digest version of your personal Ideal Protein story.
Okay, so in a nutshell, basically, this is actually my 10-year anniversary year. I started Ideal Protein in 2013. I
Oh,
was
wow.
approaching my older age, and I just I think my metabolism was sluggish, and I had tried every diet under known to man, and I came across Ideal Protein. Uh, my hairdresser did it, and she referred me to the clinic, and off I
Yeah.
went. And
Yeah.
so back then, 10 years ago, there weren't very many recipes, and there certainly weren't many recipes using the Ideal Protein packets. So I just started experimenting. And when you talk about the food musician, it's just like the packets and the food and the ingredients, are my instruments. And then
Yep.
I create the recipes, and those are my lyrics or my song. And then when I'm finished, it's actually if I should say the final songs there. But it's so I began. How this all began was I joined a Facebook group that was only about 1,200 people, and it was sort of a tight group, and we were all, what should we do? How do we do this? Trying to bond and work through this together. And I started sharing the recipes. I'm like, guys, this is so good. I came home, I took this. It was super easy, and it's so flavorful. And I knew there was going to be a way where we could extract flavor from foods that were on the phase 1 list without
Yeah.
just, the go-to of doing a grilled chicken and steamed broccoli. I mean, how
Steamed
long are you
broccoli,
going
right?
to, yeah, it's not sustainable. And how long are you going to last eating that every day, right? So I created meals that were reminiscent of the foods that I ate before before the Ideal Protein protocol, and tried to stick to traditions. And it made it so much easier to change my lifestyle based on
Right.
that kind of way of
Well,
thinking
and
and eating.
I'm gonna call time out here too, because you have a background in this though, right? Like this isn't out of the blue. I just decided to start cooking. You have training and a background. Yes?
Well, actually, my training is my life style, because I mean, I remember wanting to get up to the countertop to help my mom. She with
Yeah.
cooking, and she had 1,000 cookbooks. And so when we would go on family trips in the car, she'd say, "Kids, go pick out a book," and my siblings would pick out, I don't know, a Western and something else, and I'd always bring a cookbook. So that's what I love to read. And
I
and so
love that.
I became passionate about it. I had interest in working for Betty Crocker, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
as far
Yeah.
as but I believe that the way that I think, instead of being trained professionally, sometimes when you're trained professionally, it almost closes the windows and the box a little bit tighter, but I think more like a home cook. And I think that's why the recipes are relatable. You don't have to plate
Gotcha.
things with fancy rings, and you just put it on the plate and eat it just like you would in everyday life. So that's kind
Like
of
you
what,
said, yes.
yeah.
It's like home style
So
comfort food. Like that's how you,
exactly.
right?
Yes.
Yep. That's
Perfect
so
description.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely fantastic. And so that spurred on. People started saying, hey, you might want to put all these together and make a book.
Yes. And so I spoke to Ideal Protein, and they said, yes, go ahead, write the phase 1 cookbook. And it launched in 2015. I've done 3 updates, because sometimes, the packets, they change them out and they retire. And that's why I always keep it interesting
Yeah.
for anybody, coming in. And, some people have all 3 cookbooks. There's only one Ideal Protein phase 1 cookbook that's currently on the market, but they
Yeah.
still have some stash from the past, from their favorites and such. But it's
Right.
when I created this third revision, it was
Yep.
important that I increased the font size, so you don't have a crowded page with like 3 different recipes on it. I've got
Yep.
a photo for every recipe, so that people can actually see how it turns out, and they're actual photos of the cookbook. They're not,
Right.
so I think in the way that it's structured, it's been a good way for people to, take a trip down phase one using it, and it's makes it easier. It's it's friendly.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I sent you a picture actually Thanksgiving Day, right? Of our dog-eared and our
Yes.
tattered and splattered our green
I
version of the
know.
phase one cookbook,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. There's older
Yeah,
one.
as we had it
Sure.
out for that Asian green bean recipe that is a staple on our Thanksgiving table now. There ain't no fried French's green onions on top of our green
Right.
beans, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
no,
if you have enough flavor, you don't need things like that anyways. You learn that it's just as good, with some
yeah,
substitutes that'll work for that kind of thing.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So, what I wanted to do today and this year, we wanted to highlight, like I said, we wanted to kind of bring out some recipes that people might not know about. We wanted to actually teach people all the different places they can find your recipes, because that's actually kind of fascinating too.
okay.
And so we're going to go through some really great stuff, prepare you for the holidays so that it doesn't matter what phase you are in right now, whether you are in phase one, you're on a roll, you're losing that weight, you're cleaning up that metabolism, improving your metabolic health, and you don't really want to stop the train. We've got some cool stuff that you can use and feel like you're indulging, but you're staying in phase one, right?
Right.
And then we want to highlight, like, this is a big thing for us this year in my office is, you have to understand it's not all or nothing. The all or nothing approach to nutrition, the all or nothing approach is to that lifestyle is what got us here in the first place and what continues to bring us back when we regain that weight. So we want to teach people, as I like to say in my office, that a low carb lifestyle doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And that there's something in between. You don't have to go full carb, full sugar, and you don't
Right.
have to go full phase one, that there are substitutions you can make. There are some really great recipes you can have all the time and on holidays that, don't make us metabolically sick anymore. Don't automatically make us gain 10 pounds. The average person gains 10 pounds right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
at least in America.
crazy. Yeah.
So let's
That's
do
tough.
that. Let's head
Yeah. Okay.
for some phase one recipes.
Sounds good.
We are going to start off. Let me bring these guys in here. So one of the things that's going on right now, every holiday season, is the cookie exchange, right?
Perfect. Yes. We have to have
And
cookies
so,
for the holidays, right?
right, especially
It's
December.
very
Yeah.
traditional. Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about these. They look fantastic.
Well, what's interesting is that I've done a lot of experimentation with making cookies, and it's one of the most difficult products, but I think I've dialed in pretty well to these cookies. They're super flavorful. They're like a soft cookie, and if you sometimes I will take these cookies and after I'm finished baking them, and I'll pop them in the toaster and toast the outside for a little bit, and they get lacy crisp on the outside. That's kind of fun to do. Or if you bake in batches, you can always refresh them again by putting them in the toaster, but you're going to want to watch them because they can burn up real quickly. So, but
Okay.
yeah, but it's like taking them fresh out of the oven again. So that's kind of a neat tip or trick. So this particular recipe, when Ideal Protein launches a new product, they'll contact me and ask for some recipes that will go with the new product, and so we collaborate on that together. And this was one of them when the cranberry oatmeal came out, and it's been a real popular one. Again, especially when the holidays come, we always reach for traditional foods, and
Sure.
when we can't have the foods that are traditional, we're watching the rest of everybody else that's eating things. And, the last thing you want to do is be gnawing on, raw broccoli, and you want to have some cookies along with them. And this is really a perfect example of how we're able to incorporate some of those traditional foods that work for us. And we get to eat cookies and lose weight. So
Absolutely.
That's a win-win.
And that's the thing too, in our house, the Christmas cookies, and we've got kind of the list, and my wife is always asking, which ones do you want us to bake this year? the oatmeal cookie is kind of the underrated cookie, right?
It is,
Like
yes.
it always slides in the list of yes, and we want you to do the oatmeal cookies too. And everybody thinks about chocolate and
Yeah,
snowballs and all the
that's
things,
true.
but the oatmeal
It's
cookie is the underrated cookie,
and
especially at
it
Christmas time.
yeah, it's actually oatmeal cookies are actually my favorite cookies. So
Yeah.
it's just yeah. So this
And
is
I
a nice
also wanted to
little
point out a couple things that you said, right? So this is one of the first official collaborations where corporate has kind of contacted you, and you guys have started to do some things together. And it warms my heart to see that an actual ideal protein recipe comes out with your name on it. So I thought that was super cool.
yeah.
Clinics, clients out there, your clinic should have access to this in their ideal protein library. They should be able to look that up, get the recipe printed off for people to have it available in their clinics. This is also the cranberry oatmeal, or cranberry vanilla oatmeal that we have, but also the apple cinnamon oatmeal is freely available out there too. And I gotta think that would work. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. You can, that would, any flavored oatmeals, that would be a good sub. I chose the cranberry, of course, for the holidays, just because,
Right.
cranberries and Christmas go together. But
Absolutely.
if you prefer the apple flavor, absolutely. You can certainly swap that one in place of the cranberry oatmeal.
Fantastic. All right. Next, what do we got? Caramel fried apples. This looks
I'm
like a
not
bowl
sure.
full of
Goodness.
wonderful.
It is. I was going to say, looking at the picture, it doesn't look like that. I don't know what it looks like to other people, but I know what's in it, and it's just this was my absolute favorite dessert during phase one, and what's happening there underneath all those crumbs, the top streusel really is a crumbled up ideal protein vanilla crispy square, but below that goodness is the caramel fried apples. Of
Yeah.
course, we're not using regular apples. I'm using chayote squash to make the apples, and that recipe, if you need that recipe, it's in the files. There's a couple different ways that I've made it. There's one using caramel and peanut butter if you want a different flavor. If you can't find the chayote, now let me just talk about chayote for a second, because
Yeah.
it's a squash. It's very popular, especially in the South and in Mexico, but
Okay.
Southern United States. It's very popular. In fact, in Louisiana, I think a lot of their Christmas dishes are using merlotins, they call them down there. Anyways, so
Wow.
it's very difficult as the farther north you go, and even in Canada,
Mm,
to find them. It's just not a staple that we use in our traditional food. So some people have a hard time finding it. If you do, I actually have a connection to they send me another ideal protein friend of mine will send a whole bunch of them in the mail to me. I've
nuh-uh.
also, yeah, yes, I call her my chayote dealer because
I
because
love that.
she'll stuff as many as she can in a large USPS flat rate box, and I end up with, I don't know, I have I think 60 make 16 cups. So I just batch cook like crazy these caramel fried apples, and then
Yeah.
portion them out and then freeze them. They freeze very well. But what I was going to mention, if you can't find them, I've got a recipe in the files on the Facebook page that uses zucchini, and zucchini is another alternative. They're more delicate, so there's a different
Yeah.
cooking
Yeah.
method to them. But I just wanted to mention that's in there. Anyways, so I take the caramel fried apples and I put a cup's worth of the apples in there, which is your vegetables, and
Hmm.
then crumble the vanilla crispy bar on top, and then drizzle with 2 tablespoons of the half and half, which is 1 ounce of dairy for the day, and it's you don't even know that this is not diet food, people. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not, yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's a super
Yeah.
easy one too. If you have the caramel apples made, I mean, you can put this together in 30 seconds. That's how fast you can get to your
And
dessert. So,
it's funny. You know that I might be a little squeamish when it comes to my vegetables. And I had somebody the first time that they made the caramel fried apples with the chayote. I'm like, okay, what do you got there? What? And they're like, you have to take a bite, Dr. Barnes. You have to. And I'm telling you, like it was apples. I was like, there's no way that this is a squash. This is amazing, and it tasted so great.
It does. It tastes like apples
And
for sure.
yeah. Now you've already talked about the files. For people that don't know, can you explain to people where to find files of your recipes on your Facebook group?
Okay, it's super easy, and you access. Okay, there's a cover photo at the top of the group page. Underneath the cover photo, whether you're on tablet, cell, or PC, there is a toolbar that runs across the bottom. Now, if you're on, especially like a cell phone, there's a list of items there.
I'm just gonna bring it right up here as we're talking about it now.
So that's the cover photo, and then down below all that, that's where you'll see the toolbar. On a PC, you can see if everything shows up because the screen is so wide.
It's all across the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, what you'd want to do is go to that toolbar and start scrolling, swipe to the left until you see files. And when you see files, just click on that, and it'll bring up the list of everything in there. And I think I've got close to 80 recipes there.
Wow.
Just a variety of different things, so you can kind of see how my style of creating recipes and whether you like them or not.
Right.
And so it's a nice place to start if you're first just coming into, especially if you're coming to the program. But even if you're in the middle or towards the end, I mean, there's things in there that aren't in the cookbook, and so it's just a nice place to go and find a group.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the point, right? You've got recipes everywhere, and they generally don't show up in more than one place.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So and they're in PDF form. So if you see a title that you have interest in the files, just click on that, and it'll download in PDF style. So super easy. You can print them out, put them in a book at home or what have you. So.
And I think that this is another great example of one of those recipes, right?
Yes, just recently I put a recipe together using the mug cake mix. It's listed in the files under chocolate chip mug pancakes. What I did is put a little twist on that and added some pumpkin spice mix to the batter. Again, you could, if you don't like pumpkin spice, you can use apple pie spice or cinnamon or what have you. The coloring.
Their phase one.
Yeah, the coloring. I want to make mention that I do sometimes use the emulsions and extracts, and there's a pumpkin pie emulsion that I put in there. It's not required, but sometimes that's why you see kind of the orange color. It comes from that.
Oh, so yeah, got it. Okay.
So it doesn't have to be put in there, but yeah.
So here's the recipe, and I got this again from the files, and I just wanted to show people, what that kind of looks like.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and if your clinic happens to be out of pancakes, we can use the mug cake and create these pancakes instead. Yes, right?
Exactly. They're very you will not have a dry pancake if you use this recipe. The key really to cooking with pancakes is low and slow. Instead of if you're used to making.
Is that my problem? Yeah, crank it up 3/4. Let's go. I'm in a hurry. Yes. Right.
Right. So it'll take a little bit. It'll take a little bit longer, but it's just set it up low and slow, and your pancake it'll be great. Perfect. So
love that.
I think the instructions are on there. So.
And man, I tell you, God, those just I'm already starting to get hungry here. It's killing me.
Yeah, I know. Where's my fork? Those are good. Yeah.
Hey, what do you got here? I think this is a brand new recipe.
This is a brand new recipe. I want to mention that I do have an eggnog recipe in the cookbook, but it's more, I'd say it's more like a thicker drink, whereas this is this is a nod to that one. It's the eggnog smoothie. I'm using the vanilla pudding mix. What I like about that mix, making smoothies, is it creates a thicker ice cream like base when you mix it with the water and the ice and that kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
But in here, you're not going to feel left out if other people are drinking eggnog. This one is really good. It's all the flavors. It's really basically a rum and a nutmeg and a little touch of cinnamon that gives you that flavor. And so this one I'll put, I have not yet, but I will get it in the files today. So you'll find that one there.
Excellent.
Easy access before the holidays. So.
Excellent. Yeah. And that's the other thing too. If your clinic doesn't happen to have the vanilla smoothie mix, we can use that vanilla pudding mix, right?
Right. Absolutely. And I actually like it better for this particular recipe. It's creamier, it's thicker, it's ice cream like. So
yeah. And again, whether it's chocolate or vanilla, those pudding packets you can actually use, you know, and make smoothies with them, especially if you're putting the ice in there to give it a little extra water, etc. Right? I've had them and they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, really good. Yep, nothing wrong with that at all. So
that's
you just need a little bit more water just to thin out the pudding a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
All right, cranberry vanilla apple crisp. Tell us about this.
This is another collaboration. So I made one for the cranberry vanilla oatmeal, and again, it's super simple. You just basically mix with a little bit of water, put it in the oven until it crisps up, just like little crumbles, streusel crumbles, and put that. You can mix it with your caramel fried apples again. Put a little half and half in there. It's just another way to enjoy the oatmeal. And make it into a dessert rather than your standard breakfast idea. So
you're actually baking or kind of cooking the oatmeal?
Yes, yeah. I just put a little bit of water in there and mix it together, and then put it on a baking sheet.
Put it on a cookie sheet, or okay,
sure. Yeah, and it just extracts the moisture out of it, so it becomes crumbly and crispy, and then you just break it up with your fingers when it comes out, and then there's your streusel. So this recipe is also available to Ideal Protein clinics through your portals, whatever, with Ideal Protein, and I've got it also in the file.
Okay, so this was one that corporate put out.
Yes.
With your love that. Okay. I will have to go looking for that one too. Second time that you've mentioned using that half and half, kind of pouring it over top is to give it that final. That's a fascinating concept.
Well, I think it adds. There are a few things that add, when you think about what adds flavor to food, fat is one of them. And in any weight loss method, you try to trim the fat at some level, and the half and half gives it that richness and that fat, I think, that we crave or look for sometimes in a food. And it's just a way to zhuzh it up, when you use the dairy, however you want to use it. I mean, we used to pour it right over it. My mom would make homemade pudding. If you want to make the pudding and pour it over the top, that's how we ate our pudding when I was a kid. So that's another way. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we put cream right over the top of our pudding, and that have that skin on the top. It was delicious. So
fascinating.
Or if you want to get the dairy in and make your smoothies a little bit more luxurious, put the dairy in there. It kind of has that ice cream like taste.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? I always ask people when we're doing the phase 1 sheet and we're going over it, do you drink coffee? Do you drink tea? And if they say no, or I like to drink it black, then you actually do have that ounce of half and half kind of hanging out there unused.
You do.
And this is an interesting way that you can actually use that. And I'm going to start saying zhuzh all the time now. So you can zhuzh it right up.
Can you spell that for me?
I was going to ask you. I'm going to Google. I'm going to Google the spelling of zhuzh.
I think it's ZSHUZSH or something like
Oh,
that.
wow. Well, people
A little
in my
trivia
office are
here.
going to get tired of it because that's my new word of the day.
Okay.
That's funny. All right, let's get back to the recipes because this one is killing me just looking at the picture.
Well, this one is very indulgent. I use the mug cake mix for this one. And again, this is another recipe that's in the files on the Facebook group site. And I have just about every pan and baking vessel.
I'm sure you
known
do.
to man to yes, I think I should build an addition onto my house to house all these. I just love just little, cute little thing. You don't have to have these little cast iron skillets to make this. You can use a ramekin, or you can even use a muffin tin. And so right when it comes out of the oven, I poke holes in the top of it, and then of course I use my dairy, the half and half, with a little bit of caramel syrup from Mount Walden Farms, and just a sprinkle. I use a fleur de sel salt. You don't have to, but just a pinch of salt, and then mix it together. It makes kind of a nice salted caramel drizzle for the top of it. And then when you pour it over after poking the holes with a fork in it, it kind of goes down into the brownie and soaks it. And it's warm and hot and yummy.
I kind of feel like that's the definition of zhuzh.
Zhuzh,
like,
yes.
What you just that to me, like, I'm getting warm all over thinking about that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and again, we got to talk about some of the things, right? So fat and salt, two things that have gotten a bad rap in our society, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always say to people now, look, don't blame fat and salt for what sugar has done. Right. It's been an absolute
100%
180 as far as truly what good nutrition is and what we were taught. And so we have to unlearn so much stuff. And when we are in phase one, especially, again, I talk about this being a metabolic protocol. The most important thing in my mind is getting your body into that metabolic state of ketosis in order to do a lot of healing. It's a very healing state to be in, inside your body and in your metabolism, but then also so that you access and burn that fat. And for me, I would rather you have a little extra fat on top of, I would rather you use that half and half to give yourself a little bit more zhuzh, if I were to use that word. And that would keep you metabolic, right? Also, what we have learned, especially in the past couple of years, is we have an increased need for sodium, an increased need for salt when we are in a state of ketosis. And many of the issues that people deal with, if they don't feel good while they're in phase one, it's because they're not getting enough sodium. So we're not going to be afraid to sprinkle some extra salt in that dish and enjoy that extra flavor, because our body needs and uses that electrolyte. And when we're in ketosis, if we get any extra, it flushes it right out. And that's kind of that's the big deal.
Good stuff.
So let's not be scared. Let's not be scared of the of a little extra salt, a little extra fat in there. And when we're talking about, and this is actually probably a great segue, when we were talking about moving on to phase two and phase three recipes, right?
Yes.
Those things still become good friends of ours. So not something to be so scared of. But that brings me to something else.
What is that?
That's what zhuzh sounds like.
Perfect.
So we are going to do something. If you have gotten this far in the show, Janeva came up with this idea before we got on the air. And I think it's so absolutely cool. It shows her heart and the fun that she likes to have. And so, Janeva, explain to us what your concept was to actually reward somebody, give somebody a gift, a prize during this holiday season.
Well, after let me preface this. After I left phase one, I knew that I had to not change, shift. I see it as a shift. because changing can be kind of scary. But I shifted into, the low carb lifestyle, and I wrote a follow up cookbook with that. And do you want me to go into that right now, or?
Well, I want to do the fun prize thing that you talked about.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So it was just my idea that just to have some fun, and I'd like to sign one of my homestyle low carb cookbooks and give
Do you
it.
have one there?
I do.
Can you show it to us?
Yes. So it's this one.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? The website doesn't show about this. It was, it's just a beautiful. Oh, look, right to the cocktails there.
I was just going to say, not for nothing. I think
which goes to show you can still have some spirits for the holidays. Which
goes to show living a low carb lifestyle doesn't suck. There's cocktails in this recipe book.
Yes, there's actually a Bailey's recipe in here. A mock Bailey's recipe, for the holidays, which is kind of a big deal for me because that was always one of my favorites. And now they have a tiramisu flavor, so I will figure out how to make that one low carb.
I love it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to reach out and offer one of my cookbooks for someone who might be in need of some lifestyle shift over the holidays or soon after, or whenever your phase one ends and you go into your new lifestyle. And I would like to sign it and send it to someone.
Excellent.
So,
and that goes right along. One of my mantras actually is shift happens. Right?
Yes.
Right?
That's another one. Yes.
You know what? Shift happens, right?
Yeah.
But this is an absolute amazing shift, and we need to shift consciousness. We want to shift the mindset of all or nothing, right? I'm either in phase one or I am all out, back to the sugar, the flour, and all of the things, right? And that's there is a phase two, there is a phase three, and they're super exciting and super fun. And your cookbook is one of the keys to longevity, one of the keys to keeping your metabolism healthy, to maintaining that healthy weight, and being able to enjoy, again, some of those things you grew up with, the comfort foods and all of the stuff. And when the cookbook came out, I used to tell my people, I said, look, how amazing those phase one recipes are. Think what she can do now that she can add some fat and a little bit more carbs in there. Right? So it's an amazing book. Yes. Absolutely amazing book.
Yeah.
So we came up with this concept. We came up with this idea. What we want you to do, now I want the magic word to be zhuzh, but nobody's going to be able to spell it.
You can't spell it. Yeah.
We came up with the magic word for the show is mushrooms, because Janeva knows that they are like something I truly cannot. They just no, right? Mushrooms I will not do. No matter what recipe it's in, Janeva, I will not do it.
Okay. So, well, you haven't tried the shiitake bacon yet, but
and there's that is like heresy to me. Bacon is sacred, and you cannot ruin it by telling me that a mushroom tastes like bacon.
That's so funny.
That's one of your flaws, Janeva. It might be your only flaw.
I'm such a terrible. Yeah.
It might be your only flaw. So here's the contest. Here's the contest part of it. The Life Possible podcast has its own Facebook page. And if you go to the Life Possible podcast page, you will find 65 other, this is number 66. You'll find 65 other episodes you may or may not have watched and enjoyed. There's some amazing, amazing people on this show. And I'd like you to direct message me through that page. The magic word is mushrooms. And we're going to give you a week. We're going to give you till December 7th. And the morning of December 8th, I am going to go ahead. That'll be a Friday. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to draw out of a hat somebody's name who direct message the magic word mushrooms to the Life Possible podcast. And I will tell Janeva we'll have to get contact information as well, but we'll contact you to get your mailing address, and Janeva will ship you one of those amazing Janeva's Kitchen low carb lifestyle cookbooks.
I sure will.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Is that a deal?
Absolutely. That's a deal. You're good.
All right. I got to use my sound effect again. All right. Enough
Okay.
craziness. Let's move on with the recipes. Ever since you sent me this picture, I'm like, I can't wait for breakfast in the morning. Tell me about the Frico egg taco.
It's I always say everybody says it's freaking delicious because it's literally just cheese. A frico means fried cheese, basically.
What?
Yeah. So in a pan, you throw in the cheese and you get it bubbling, and then you crack in 2 eggs, and you close it over like a taco, and well, excuse me, you don't fold it yet, but you put a cover on it and you start to cook the eggs. You can cook them as long as you want, to runny stage or to hard stage, whatever you like. Then fold it over and let it rest for a couple minutes, and it's so indulgent, so good. You can put I put in sausage crumbles in there. I've served it with salsa, just to kind of cut. It's pretty rich, but it's
Yeah.
Every time we have guests now that stay with us, I'm on a lake here, and so they like to come and stay with us in the summertime.
Right?
Only, not winter. But anyways, I make this for them for breakfast, and it's just, they ask for it every time now. So it's sort of fun to make. It's super quick, and it's low carb.
Back the truck up. The truck up. I'm going to ruin a pan doing this, Janeva. Do I put something in the pan first?
No,
I don't put oil in there.
No. The cheese has enough oils in it so that when it starts to melt, it won't stick to the. Well, I would use a non-stick pan. I mean, I would use
right.
Like an aluminum shiny one. But so the directions are the recipe is on the website. It's also in the cookbook. But if you want to give it a try, you can find it online there. So, and I mean, who doesn't like tacos?
Cheddar cheese, Swiss cheese. What's the best?
I like to use a sharp cheddar cheese because that will give you a lot of flavor. Mild, just like it's going to be more mild. So I've mixed it. I like to use the sharp cheddar because it gives it a good solid taco shell. Sometimes if the cheese is softer, like I sometimes mix in a Gouda with it because it's so good.
Because that juices it right up.
Yes, and so I'll sprinkle a little bit of that, just for the different flavor. But it's like, for example, Gouda is a very soft cheese, so it's really hard to get that kind of hard shell Frico crispiness to it. So, but the recommendations are in the recipe.
On the actual recipe. Fantastic. All right. So I love going to Starbucks. I love to get me my egg bites, right? Mm-hmm. And I have yet to be able to do it at home, again, without ruining a muffin tin.
Okay.
Talk to me about these babies.
Okay. The key to that is pick up some standard baking liners made from parchment paper, not standard baking liners, because those are gone. Those days are gone. Always use parchment. Parchment will just you'll take the egg muffins out of there once they're cooked, and it'll just fall right off. So basically the concept behind this is really the scrambled eggs. Mix in whatever you like. Again, there's suggestions in the recipe. I like putting in crumbled cooked sausage. It can be turkey or pork or what have you. You can put in sauteed vegetables. Like if you have vegetables from the night before, chop them up. And throw them in there, I mean, it's sort of whatever you have in your fridge kind of thing. And then I like to batch bake these because they freeze really, really well. And so they're, on those mornings when you're running out, I mean, take it right out of the freezer, throw it in the microwave for a minute, and you'll have a fresh egg muffin. And as far what you see on there is I've topped it with sour cream and some hot salsa. So just for a little extra perk, you can serve them. They're good with sort of a sit down meal with them. With some avocado and some everything.
Well, again, the presentation, if you want to, it's just gorgeous.
They're one of my favorite breakfasts. It's just because they're so easy once you batch cook and have them frozen. So,
and again, during the holiday season, if you have guests, et cetera,
another good one.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Or and going back, those, because they're so high in protein, like if you're just hungry in the midday, you won't get bogged down if you eat one of those. If you just have a little snack, just grab one of those for
what?
Snack.
That is an absolutely amazing point too. We're teaching phase 2. We're putting people in their macro code. We're talking about how much protein they need to get in. We prioritize protein in our life. And this is a fantastic way. Snack time is kind of a hard time to get protein in, right? There's not many things that people are thinking about. And I always say a couple of hard-boiled eggs go a long way, but this is next level. What a great snack this could be.
And if you used, leaner, you don't have to use the pork sausage. You can, now they have turkey sausage. You can use that and fill it with vegetables, and and you've got, it's quite a bit of protein especially if you add in like a turkey sausage.
Great. Yeah. Fantastic. All right. So you're going over to somebody's house, you're going over for cocktails, you're going over for dinner, what have you. And they say, bring an appetizer. What do you do?
I mean, charcuteries are off the charts, really popular, right? And the nice thing about the charcuterie boards is that there's so much on a charcuterie board that it's low carb.
Right.
But yes. The only thing, you've got cheeses and different kinds of meats and little, pickled vegetables and little hot peppers and nuts and, the little crispy
olives.
Yes, the little crispy, cheese, those Parmesan wisps kind of thing. Those are good.
Right.
And so, pickled vegetables, even in the jar, those are really, really good, full of flavor, especially mixed with. And as far as like crackers and things like that, I mean, I've got recipes for low carb crackers. You can buy them now. I did see the almond, or what's the name of that, Mills?
Oh yeah, Red Mill. Is it Red Mill?
No, it was. No. I saw a box of it sitting on the counter. You sent me from your house, Almond Mills or something like that.
Yeah.
They make. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's
somebody just brought those over for the first time this year.
They're
low carb crackers. Yep,
they're incredible. I get them at Costco, and so something like that is an alternative to a cracker. There's no feeling left out at all. Ever. There should never be. You should never feel left out shifting into a low carb diet. There's always a delicious alternative. In fact, a lot of that food you ate before were probably low carb and you didn't even know it. So to title them that doesn't mean you're being deprived whatsoever. It's just good stuff.
Yeah. I'm writing that down. You should never feel left out eating low carb. Right.
And you'll see
there's always an alternative.
Yes.
Delicious alternative.
And so even you see down there in the bottom corner, there's some wine, which wine is typically one of the lower carb alcohols, spirits that we have on the market.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
So that's a good choice.
The drier, the better.
Yep. And and so I also magically open to the spirits on my cookbook, but there's some suggestions there too, as to hop, skip, and go naked is one of them. And
I'm sorry, what?
It was
that will be in another show. That will be the 4th episode.
I think it's a Midwest thing. It's
a cocktail show.
Yeah.
Join us. We will hop, skip, and get naked. All right. This show just took a turn. Let's get back.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. This is a topic.
Yes. Butter is low carb. Oh, I mean, it's one of our greatest gifts, I think, for food. Again, fat adds flavor
Yep.
to the foods.
We
And
were talking about it earlier, right? Fat
yeah,
is on our phase 2 healthy fat list. Butter is on our healthy
yeah,
fats list, right?
butter has
And
gotten a
if you
bad rap in the past, hasn't it?
right, if you
Yeah,
go back, it's if you Google Time magazine covers about butter, it's like it's bad for you, it's good for you, it's bad for you, it's good. We're in a good
yeah.
phase, so
Hmm.
butter is cool, but it doesn't just have to be plain. This is something that
No.
blows my mind, and I never think about. So, talk to us
Yeah.
about this.
Okay, so this particular holiday butter, I mean, it's good on low carb buns. You can put it on pancakes and waffles and French toast, that kind of thing. Um, Basically, compound butters, it's just a mix of different compounds you put together, and it flavors the butter, and you've let it sit long enough, it kind of marries with the butter, the flavor.
Yeah.
And it's one way to extract and add flavor to everyday foods.
Okay.
And this is an example of one of them. I again have so this particular recipe is on the website. Maybe give it a try and see if it's something that you like. I have a my own cookbook that I put together of 500 different combinations of compound butters from sweet to savory. And
I
so
have to have you say that again. 500 butter recipes.
I'm a little bit
Wow.
overkill sometimes when I'm
That
passionate
well,
about
but
something.
no, I mean just the concept that you can create 500 recipes for compound butter is off the charts.
Yeah, it's they're all pretty unique. And again, if you're interested in more of those, there are some. There's a cinnamon sunrise that has some orange and cinnamon flavors to it that's in the cookbook and
Wow.
that kind of thing. So I just got into
Yeah.
I got into compound butters several years ago, and I just love the whole concept of it and the idea of
Yeah.
adding flavor with one swoop. Like
Well, right.
scoop.
That's the
So
thing. It's just it's a concept that really is mind blowing when you do it, and we're definitely gonna have to dive into that.
yeah,
There's a couple of them in that cookbook, isn't there?
yes, I think I've got
I think I remember getting to that point, going, "Wait, what?" Yeah. Oh, that's
yeah,
so neat.
yeah.
So neat. Oh, here we go. In my mind, the cousin to mushrooms, pumpkin.
Really?
Pumpkin maple mousse. Geneva, don't even get me going. Like,
I don't even.
have you carved a pumpkin before? Have you seen the
No.
guts?
Oh, I
Like,
see.
I'm out.
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
out.
really? Oh
Oh,
no,
really?
I,
No, my
but
family will tell you I'm
but you'll eat it. You won't even eat
no.
it?
Oh,
Oh, oh, oh. You're missing out there, John. I'm just saying.
well, you know what? I'm okay missing out on that one.
Okay, okay. Well, this one, I actually have a batch sitting in my refrigerator right now, and what I like about it, it's obviously low carb, but if you add, instead of eating the high carb car, pumpkin pies with those crusts and the sugar and all that,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
make
yeah.
this mousse, it's very indulgent. It's light but indulgent, and then serve it with whipped cream and the toasted pecans on top. It's just like eating. It's better than a pumpkin pie, in my opinion. And sometimes I'll just keep this in the refrigerator. So if I feel like eating something sweet, I just go in and I take a scoop with my spoon, and it sort of satisfies that without sitting down and eating like a whole, you know,
Right.
piece of something. It
Right.
kind of gets rid of that sweetness craving because after meals, I'm a sweet tooth. I like to have a little
Uh-huh.
something, not a
Right.
whole big piece of something. And I just still, and the spoonful does it for me. So, but it lasts quite a while too in the fridge. But it's been popular at holiday get-togethers
Yeah. Yeah,
and I'll
yeah. And
usually
actually,
put this
man,
together.
you think about this for Thanksgiving as well. So,
Yeah.
although that window closed, think about that for next year, right?
Well,
And
even we serve pumpkin pies all the way through from Thanksgiving all the way through to the end of the year. We always have a pumpkin pie for Christmas there, among other things too. But
Mhm.
but it's part of our holiday traditions, and at least in our neck of the woods, to have the pumpkin all the way through.
Got it.
So
And lesson learned, if you're at Geneva's and you open the fridge and you see the pumpkin mousse, make sure it hasn't had a spoon or two taken out of it. That would
yeah,
be
I'm the only
Geneva's.
one that eats it here, so I'm allowed to do that. That's funny.
All right.
No double
Hey,
dipping.
let's let's talk a little bit about this gem. Okay. I do want to bring it up. We wanted to talk about it a little bit. Another collaboration, official collaboration that you did with Ideal Protein 2 years ago.
Already, yes.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Time
Tell us
flies.
about this really cool baking kit.
Well, it was a collaboration again with Ideal Protein, and they wanted to put a baking kit, and so we curated sort of the tools that are in it, and along with those tools, I wrote a cookbook. It's another cookbook here
Yeah,
with some unique baked goods that you won't find in any other cookbook. They're
right.
unique to that one. And what's interesting about this kit is I thought, okay, well, if you're not on phase one, if you're going, you know what? I still use these tools every day. Maybe not the
There,
the donut rings, but they're great because you never burn anything. I just love those donut rings for that reason, and you can
you
make
mean
bagels with it.
the little Mexican top hats for the
Yes,
Barbies?
exactly.
That's I'm like, so again, to the untrained eye, right? I remember the day that the box came and I sent you a video of Lynn jumping up and down, opening the baking kit for the first time, right? Just
Yes.
a child at Christmas. And I'm like, okay, she included Mexican hats for Barbies. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they
But
look,
they're
yep, they look,
actually donut molds, yeah?
yes, or bagel molds, whatever,
Or
whatever you
bagel molds.
and I have both those rest. I have donuts and bagels in the cookbook, and just some fun and interesting, different baked goods in there that you won't. They're not anywhere except for that baked. Excuse
And
me, except
we
for that
talked
cookbook.
about it too. You really put so much thought into, as you said, curating the tools for this,
Yeah,
even the
yeah,
spoons. Like, I'm like, okay, we've got spoons at our house, right? But I didn't quite understand the significance of them being oblong as opposed to just being circular.
right.
What's the point
Well,
there?
yeah, old school spoons are around, right? If you go to try to stick them in the spice jars, you can't. So the whole idea behind the oblong ones is that they will slip right into, say, a cinnamon jar,
Yeah.
and you can pull it right out and scrape up the top. You've got instead of trying to tap it in there, and it's so it just makes
Oh,
it
yeah. And then you get it all
anything you
over
can
like me
do
and
to
it
make
just
things
spills
easier
and
in the
it's
kitchen. Yeah.
right.
I mean, I mean, I love to cook, but if it makes it easy, yes, please. I like and that those other two tools. The one is the
Yeah.
whisk. It's a ratcheting one,
The
and it's called a ratcheting whisk. And
And I'm
yes,
like,
so
I don't get it. What is this thing
I
doing?
know.
And then,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, you just push it down and it spins as you just
And it
have
spins.
that motion. And what's great is that you don't have liquid flying everywhere. It just
Exactly. You don't
you
do the
can just
mixer
put it in
thing where you,
right. You just
right?
put it in a small bowl, use the ratchet. But I use that. I think I use it pretty much every day. Uh,
That's
and
crazy.
then the cake tester is below that. I use that all the time
Well,
for
and
my baking.
it's
So
double edged too, right? There's something with the orange edge as well.
yeah. So on the other end, so you see that the metal end is, of course, your test, like a toothpick, your
Yeah.
test end to see if the baked good is done. And then the other side has it's sort of curved up so that let's say you take out some baked muffins or cupcakes, and then you forgot your parchment liners.
Your parchment.
But
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, it runs around.
Just
You
use
run
that.
that around, and
Yeah.
it kind of pulls it out. So it's
That's
kind of
awesome.
nice. Yeah. it's
That's
like
awesome.
double purpose there. But
So yeah, as far as I know, I believe there are clinics that have baking kits still available in their offices, like ours. And even if again, it doesn't matter if it's just phase one and it's the amazing cookbook with some amazing treats in there.
yeah,
But the
yeah,
tools themselves are worth the price of the
they are.
baking kit.
Yeah.
Really kind
We
of
will
makes the
use
whole
those
thing.
forever. And
So
just real quick, I want
yeah.
to say about those
Woo.
tools, we purposefully used, uh, especially for the spoons, use that type of plastic because there's so many spoons
Mm.
out there that start to oxidize over time. These will last
Huh.
you a lifetime. So yeah, they're awesome.
Wow. So
Okay,
even
cool.
down to the type of plastic that
Yeah,
was used.
yep.
Wow.
So
That's crazy. That is awesome. All right. Let's continue on. We've got a couple more left. We're still talking phase two, phase three. And, again, a great picture of the cookbook that we are incidentally giving away if you know the magic word.
yes, this is the chocolate avocado mousse. Avocado, you say? Yes.
Mhm.
Uh,
If you know
so
what, if you might have a chance of me eating that one.
yeah, you can't taste the avocado. I would never put something savory in a sweet and expect you to eat it if it was savory. It is super. The avocado just makes it so creamy and
Okay.
luxurious. The texture's better than your standard mousses or made with
Wow.
standard ingredients. It's really good. You
Okay.
could top it with some berries, which are low carb, and I've got
Yep.
a little bit of whipped cream and some, I think it's cinnamon whipped cream put on there and some.
And tell us about whipped cream too. That was an eye opener for me. I'm just thinking it's a can of sugar, but it's actually not.
No, the whipped cream. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I mean,
you're making
it's
when
it's
you mix
fat.
it.
It's
Yes,
not it's not sugar, it's fat.
yes, and in
Yeah, so
dairy,
it keeps you
the fatter it is, the less the carbs. So you go from
it
skim
keeps
milk, which is
exactly.
really
Yes.
sugar, all the way down to heavy cream, and you've got no sugar.
Yeah,
So that's another glorious
right?
God-given food is the heavy cream. And
Yes.
I just want to talk about sweeteners for a second because I think a turnoff for some people in the low carb uh, lifestyle is finding a sugar that's right for them that tastes good.
Okay.
And I'm going to
Okay.
tell you that I think that allulose is the best. It's natural. It just it doesn't do anything to you. It doesn't raise your glycemic levels. It tastes for me it tastes is similar to sugar. And I also do like the monk fruit, but
Mhm.
the erythritols. I don't use those. I don't use those
Okay.
in any of my baked goods or
Yeah.
anywhere because it has that cooling effect. I feel like it's very, I don't know, it's not, to me, it's not good on the palate. So I
Okay.
sweeten with, it'll taste just like regular whipped cream is my point on the,
Yeah.
when we're talking about the whipped cream.
Yeah.
You just sweeten it a
Yeah.
little bit and then you can put cinnamon in it or
That's awesome.
pumpkin spice or whatever you want to zhuzh it up
And I
on there.
love I love that you brought up about the heavy cream and the milk concept, right? People always ask me when we're going through that phase one sheet again. They're like, "Well, how? I drink skim milk. I use them." I'm like, "Well, no, actually, right? Because that is all carb. That's all carb, and we're actually not worried about the fat as much as we are in introducing those carbs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes. How
yeah,
lovely is that? I mean, that is just, to me,
yeah.
that's a gift. Uh,
And look at these little beauties. These are they look to me they're like those peanut butter cookies with the fork, the crosshatch.
yeah, that's exactly what they are. There's 4 simple ingredients, and they're like to me. I call them angel cookies because they melt in your mouth. Easy to make. That recipe is on the website as well as the cookbook.
Okay.
So you can find it.
And what is the sugar coating that you have on there?
It's just I take the, you don't need to put that on there, but I just roll them in a granulated monk fruit or allulose,
Yeah.
uh,
Okay.
and then and then press them and then bake them with it on there.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah, they're gorgeous. They absolutely. And again, the traditional peanut butter cookie at
Yep,
Christmas is,
easy to make.
something that we normally see there. I will say there is a really great story that goes along with those cookies, and you can hear that story in its entirety back
Yeah.
in the last Christmas episode that we did.
And
Holiday
it's
episode.
actually in the cookbook too. I did write a little story. I like to write little
Okay.
stories along with some of the recipes that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fun one. Where
So
did the Buckeyes
yeah.
go? Did
Oh, you know what?
we didn't.
Hang on. Oh, there we were
There.
having difficult. There you go.
Yay.
These guys, I know them as Buckeyes, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Part of the country knows them as Buckeyes. Otherwise, they're peanut butter balls dipped in low carb chocolate.
Right.
Right.
And they eat just like a Reese's peanut butter cup. I think they're better than that. Rory, my significant other, he's a very picky eater, and he loves these. And he's first thing he said, he got goosebumps after eating them. So
Yeah.
yay, that was a success. So yeah, these are
You know
really,
what?
really good to have for the holidays as well. Just a little nibble on something.
That's awesome. Yeah. Shout out to Rory. I think he and I are kindred spirits. We've talked about in
Yeah.
many ways, right?
Right.
And I tell you, these are now a staple at our Christmas. It's Christmas cookie that my daughter, Janeva Jr., as I call her, she will make these for us and for the low carb people in my family, and we expect to have them every Christmas season. So yes, I love them. I will say they are like that, like the peanut butter cup.
Yeah. And this recipe is only on the website.
Okay, only on the
Geneva's
website.
Kitchen. Yeah, Geneva's Kitchen. So you can find
excellent. Well, that's where I'm going next. I want to once again I want to teach everybody where to find the best Janeva recipes, where all the different places are, and so this is a great picture of a couple of the books that you have out. Not all of them, but the most common ones that we talk about with Ideal Protein.
Sure.
Right?
Yes.
And so they can go to your website, genevaskitchen.com, and order that directly from your website.
Right. The baking cookbook will have to can be purchased from your clinic.
Yes, the little tiny spiral bound one that you see there.
Yes,
you have to get that. You have to get that in the baking kit. But the other two, Geneva's Ideal Recipes Phase 1, and Geneva's Kitchen Low Carb Lifestyle. Those two you can get straight through the website. And, again, it's always nice to talk about how if they order it from you straight through the website, a portion of that goes to charity.
Yes. I lost my only son, and I was so grateful to come down this road that I knew I had to give back. And so I created the charity in his name through Feed My Starving Children. And so the proceeds from the sales of the cookbook have gone to his charity, and I've had people so generously and graciously also donate to his charity. But we've now fed, there's over 70,000 kids. The donations are almost $15,000 towards feeding kids. So if I've done anything right to my life, that's the one thing that I hope to be able to continue to do. And and
what a great way to honor his memory too. That's
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. So please, if you do not have, and I will tell you too, probably most people have the Phase 1 recipe book out there, but if you don't have the Phase 2, 3 recipe book, man, go get that. Next.
Yeah.
So on this website, on the same website, like you've mentioned before, there are recipes. You do have a certain amount of those on there. And like we were talking about, I had a client today tell me that the rustic Italian rolls were fantastic at Thanksgiving.
They're so good. Better than regular rolls. Just take the time to make them. And again, once you batch cook, these are also very good for storing, for freezing and taking out and thawing and just toasting. They're incredible. So, and that recipe,
fantastic. Yeah. And I love that you've got on there, I cannot eat mediocre bread.
Truth.
Right? Truth.
Yes,
I love that. I
exactly.
absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about it before, but if you are on Facebook, you've got to join Geneva's Kitchen, her Geneva's Ideal Recipes, Geneva's Ideal Protein, Phase 1 Recipes and Cookbook group. Just put Janeva in the search bar and it comes right up.
Yeah.
But I am fascinated by this because, again, I'm like, she's got a couple thousand people in there. It's kind of good, whatever. How many people do you have in this Facebook group?
We're approaching 60,000. We're just under, we're 59,000 some odd amount. So we're just.
So let's push her over. Let's push her over the 60,000 mark. I think the only other person that has something that big is probably Taylor Swift. This is what I'm thinking, right? That's probably the only other person that approaches 60,000 people.
Certainly up there with her, isn't it?
In her Facebook group. So let's push Janeva over that 60,000 mark. I can't even imagine. That's like so many thousands of people. I think I've got like a couple hundred, but it's okay. It's not about comparison.
Right. I really want to make I am so proud of this group. It started in 2015. It just has climbed and climbed, and the people are so kind, and they're so. It's just a very positive group. I don't, I run it pure Ideal Protein because I feel like anybody comes over there, they need pure Ideal Protein. I don't, allow alternatives or little, things here and there. It's a tight ship, but it's still fun. And it's a safe place, and people are very supportive. And I honestly have just loved working with the people that are in the group there. They've been an amazing group. So it is a great place.
We certainly encourage all of our people to go there. I get the biggest kick out of when I see one of our clients posting in the group, that we know, like I was just talking about. We've got a client who's over 60 years old who has transformed her life. She's lost 60 pounds. And she can't get enough of the recipes. And so she'll post in there, and it warms my heart. Which, like I said, she brought me the grain-free granola bar from Geneva's Kitchen Cookbook today. And that blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind.
Yeah.
So I got to get little Janeva working on those.
Yes. Get little Janeva going.
She's slacking.
Don't let her see this podcast then.
It's okay. I won't get into much.
Okay.
I won't get into much trouble. No, she's a fourth grade teacher now. So excited about that. Yes. All right. You know what, Janeva, thank you so much again for spending time with me and for bringing all of these wonderful options, recipes to our listeners and viewers, making the Ideal Protein Protocol even more fun than it is. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, I have to say, I always enjoy working with you on these podcasts, and I love your company, your humor, and all that. And it's a place where we can, hopefully make a better place for other people and help people with their own goals of living healthier. So I am absolutely honored to do these with you, and I want to thank you too for having me as your guest today.
No, again, it is my pleasure. It's always a lot of fun. And I learned a new word this time. And we're going to zhuzh it up, man.
I'm going to send you the spelling. I'm going to Google that.
Please do.
Okay.
Please do. I double dog dare. You know what? That should be a post in the group, right? This is the correct way to spell zhuzh. And a little bit of half and half goes a long way.
There you go. Yeah, good stuff.
All right, kiddo. Thank you. I'm going to put you backstage real quick, hang out so that we can talk afterwards. And I'm going to wrap this puppy up.
All right. Sounds good. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, an amazing show with the incomparable Janeva Eickhoff. please give those recipes a shot. Check into her cookbooks if you've got them, and there's hidden recipes in there that you haven't even looked at yet. I guarantee it. And if you don't have that low carb cookbook, get a hold of one of those, because the Ideal Protein Protocol is not just phase 1. There are 3 phases and 3 parts to it. Maintenance is so much more important and so much harder than actually losing weight with phase 1. And Janeva makes it delicious, exciting, and enjoyable. Like I said, a low carb lifestyle doesn't suck. And if you can embrace that, you can enjoy feeling great the rest of your life, maintaining a healthy weight, and enjoying the foods you eat, and evidently the cocktails that you drink. Maybe we'll get another show going and she can address the cocktail situation on that show. But until then, please keep pursuing your own life possible, and stay tuned. Part 2 of Wendy White Stevens extravaganza is coming to you hopefully next week. We've been working behind the scenes on that show. We did the science episode. If you haven't watched that, it's fantastic. But grab your box of tissues, because we're going to do the humanity portion of the program hopefully next week. So stay tuned.